Hello and welcome to Loud Creations. It has been a while since I posted a video, and I figured no better time than just before Halloween. So, in this video today, I'm going to talk about my first attempt at making a candy corn mead. Uh, oh, here she is, right here. I started this a little over a month ago, and for this video, what am I trying to say? I started this about a month ago, and I've already racked it once, which I've just moved it from one carboy into another, and back sweetened it. But before I get into that, how about we just get into what I did to make this? I have my notes. Because a month is a long time, but not at the same time. Okay, so first things first, as far as the ingredients for this, I wasn't quite sure what to do. I bought a 2.5 pound bag of candy corn. I added a little bit of lemon and raisins just because. I also used Go Firm, which is the yeast nutrient that you use when you're making the mead. And I used Mangrove Jack's Mead yeast, which I believe has a maximum alcohol tolerance of about 18%. And did I use anything else? Raisins, candy corn, lemon, water, some honey. Not as much honey because candy corn is just pure sugar and kind of waxy. So what did I do? So first things first, I think it was about half a gallon of water, might have been a little more. Poured some water into my stock pot and added my 2.5 pounds of candy corn and turned the heat on and just let that get up to a boil to melt the candy corn. And while that was happening, I went ahead and I sliced my lemon, I removed the seeds, and then juiced it. And I grabbed a handful of raisins, chopped those up, and I put that all into the carboy. And let's see. Then I went back to my candy corn tea that I was making to make sure the candy corn was melting, everything was looking good. Stirred it around, and then I added my honey. And when I did this, I calculated about how much honey I wanted to use, and I have no idea how I did that. So it was 2.5 pounds of candy corn, which is a lot of sugar, and I added, I want to say, about a pound of honey. And this is just the honey from Costco that's organic, raw honey from the Northwest. Um, that to do. Okay, so I added the honey and I stirred all that up. And then I took a little bit out for my Go Firm slurry. So that I put into a cup and I added a half a teaspoon of Go Firm, stirred that up and set it aside. And then I went ahead and added my hot liquid into the carboy and I added cool water to top it off. It was really hot. So um, I had to go in and I found some blue ice that I had and I just put ice packs all around it and let it sit for quite a while to let it get down to room temperature, or excuse me, I let it sit for a while to get down to body temperature-ish, so I don't kill the yeast when I put them in. And I also added a little cool water to my Go Firm slurry and added my yeast. And I let that sit for a little bit so the little yeasties could wake up. And once this had gotten down to body temperature, I went ahead and I added in my yeast slurry. I can never say that. Yeast slurry. Go Firm yeast slurry. Anyway, I added my slurry. I'm slurring on the slurry. I added my yeast. I added my yeast and Go Firm slurry to the carboy. And then I took a gravity reading. And this one, the gravity was 1.112. I was hoping that it would ferment all the way out. But I'll talk about that in a minute. So took the gravity reading, added my bung, put some, I believe this time I put Everclear in my airlock, so it keeps the little bugsies out. Oh my god. Um, I've added the airlock with some Everclear in it to keep those little bugs out. We still have some fruit flies that are surviving into the fall. And made a label documenting the gravity, what it is when I started this. And I let this sit for basically a month. I didn't do anything with it. Life has been very busy. I have my day job that's pretty demanding, so it's kind of slowed me down on this mead stuff, but I'm trying to keep it going. Okay, so about a month later, I went ahead and I racked it. So that's just moving it into a fresh jug and getting it off of the dead yeast at the bottom and whatever other sediment and the raisins. Um, and then I went ahead and melted, I want to say it was just a small bag of candy corn. I don't know how much that weighs, but just a regular bag of candy corn. I melted in a little bit of water because I didn't want to add a bunch of water to this. So I melted that down and I back sweetened with candy corn because I want this to taste like candy corn. And last time I checked, which is when I did that, it tasted like candy corn. So, I mean, alcoholic candy corn is a little weird, but I think this might be an interesting beverage. My goal is for this to taste like candy corn. If I might add even more candy corn if I think it's necessary. When I racked it, I did take a gravity reading. Okay. So when I back sweetened this, I took a gravity and it had stalled out at 1.024, which makes this over 11% ABV. I'm totally fine with that. So I went ahead and added a bag of candy corn, like I said, and got it up to 1.050. And I'm just leaving it at that. So this is very sweet. It the airlock doesn't look like, much is happening here. There's no pressure. It doesn't look like it's fermenting. So I think it's just stalled out and I'm okay with that. When I rack this another time, I will pasteurize it, but I don't think it'll need more candy corn. It tasted like watered down alcoholic candy corn when I back sweetened it. So I have high hopes for this one. I think it'll be good. Maybe we can make like some sort of mixed drink with actual candy corn in it with it. I don't know. It's gonna have to wait until next year. But for the rest of this video, I just wanted to talk about candy corn and Halloween because Halloween is my favorite holiday. Here's interesting little information about candy corn. I am so washed out. This video is a little washed out, but that's okay. I haven't used my camera for a while. So it was invented by George Renninger, an employee of the Wonderl Candy Company in Philadelphia. It was invented in the 1880s. Candy corn, okay, chicken feed. Right. Candy corn was originally called chicken feed because chicken feed consisted of corn. And it was sold by the Golitz Candy Company, now known as Jelly Belly Candy. It began selling in 1898. Having tricolored candy was revolutionary at the time, so candy corn changed candy forever. It didn't become a staple for Halloween until the 1950s, which, if you get into, I have another book that gets into the history of Halloween. The different points in time in American history. That's interesting to see the evolution of the holiday, and of course, it's about marketing and selling products. And it's consistently one of the most popular Halloween candies in multiple states. In 2019, the National Retail Federation estimated that 95% of holiday shoppers bought candy corn, and I'm one of them. Who knew? Because when I was a kid, there's other candy I'd rather have, like Nerds or peanut butter cups. But candy corn was always there. And in a pinch, I'd settle for some candy corn. It's far better than Tootsie Rolls. And now that I'm older, it smells like Halloween to me. So I love candy corn. It just I have some sort of association with it in my memory that makes it really enjoyable for me now. But as a kid, it was almost in line with Tootsie Rolls because I'm not a big Tootsie Roll fan. So I also, if you are still here, I have this book. It's a Halloween book by Silver Ravenwolf, and this is just I have for my kids. There's, we can make popcorn balls and do little projects before Halloween, and it's fun. But it also, at the beginning of the book, she has a whole section on kind of walking through where Halloween came from and what the holiday is or has been in different countries, and discussing the origin of it. And it's an unknown origin, but I think most believe that it originates from pagan full-time holidays or rituals. So this is what she says. She says, "Nothing is ever as simple as it seems, especially when dealing with history. Too often, events and circumstances of our past were written or rewritten by people who, for whatever reason, operated under an agenda or simply wanted history to reflect how it should have been rather than how it was." So she starts off there and she gives some paleo-pagan practices for All Hallows Eve. And then there's a whole section on the Celts. And okay, here we go. The Celtic people celebrated 4 festivals called fire festivals, commonly known today as Samhain, Candlemas, Beltane, and I don't know how to pronounce the last. Samhain, I know. I got that one. Samhain, Candlemas, not sure. Beltane, got that. And the last one is Lunasad. And I should know this because I've read it and I've watched a video on it or two over the years, but I don't recall. Starts with an L. Anyway, 4 additional days of the Germanic origin, the solstice and the equinoxes, also crept into the Indo-European cultures, though where and when is debatable. And as we are concerned primarily with Halloween, we'll just leave it at that. Then she has a section on the Druids. There are many Celtic tribes. The Druids are blah, blah, blah. Again, that fly by ancient Rome. So then she gets into, Rome, and then when Christianity came in, how that changed the pagan holidays. But I thought this was interesting. The witches. So it says, so far we've talked about the bonfires, the land of the dead, how early Christians managed to superimpose Satan onto Samhain, and when fairies got zapped into demons with a bit of myth remaking and holy water. But no mention of witches, commonly associated in our time of Halloween. Where did the witches come from? Did they just pop on the planet from another dimension? Did they arrive in a spaceship? Did the devil have a ritual and conjure them up to frighten innocent Christians? No, nah. Women and men of magic, healing, and prophecy have appeared in every culture and every social system in the world. And of course, you had them in the Celtic territories of Britain, Scotland, Germany, France, Spain, and Ireland. Witchcraft was not in itself a religion, but more of a system of magic inherent in the pagan religious mythos. It is thought that the craft grew out of a dissemination of the Druid caste, which opened the magical practices up to the common individual, thus dispersing the customs and the fabric of the magic among many, and drawing in information from mystery traditions all over the world. That's interesting. She gets into the burning times when innocent people were burned at the stake, tortured. And then All Saints Day and All Hallows Eve are reintroduced by Pope Gregory III in the 7th century CE. The date was changed to November 1st because those annoying pagans just refused to cough up their original Samhain. Remember that October 31st was the eve of Samhain, and November 1st is the day of Samhain. So, Halloween's basically a harvest festival. Long story short, but she gets into the American history, and what I thought was interesting. Did I not? I thought there was something. I want to just read here. So she also has a section on like traditions and where they came from. So I thought this was interesting. Halloween traditions. Um, Pumpkins smiling, pumpkins leering, fun pumpkins, sad pumpkins, mean pumpkins, exotic pumpkins. Where did the fascination come from? We certainly can't have Halloween without our friend the pumpkin. The centerpiece of the American Halloween tradition is the jack-o'-lantern, the gutted pumpkin carved with a delightful design that glows by the insertion of a candle or battery-operated light. Many historians in our century claim that the original idea for the jack-o'-lantern came from the Celts, who hollowed out apples and vegetables, even turnips, and used them as safe candle holders, which were later used by medieval Europeans as small lanterns. Whether or not the early Celts carved faces in the apples, turnips, or beets to ward off evil is debatable. Have you ever tried to carve a turnip? It ain't easy. The pumpkin is an American vegetable, and therefore the pumpkin carving fun you experience today belongs on the long list of American inventions. A background check on carving faces to scare away evil ghosts, witches, and black cats shows us that the early Celts did not believe in witches. They had no cats, and they liked the ghosts of their ancestors. With the insistence of the Christian Church to attach all pagan-related practices to negative superstition, it's hard to determine just why faces were carved into vegetables, if at all. I guess that was just interesting. She gets into, there's all kinds of stuff about jack-o'-lanterns. I don't know if I'm not going to do story time for much longer. Summary. Here's her summary on the history of Halloween. The original Samhain marked the close of the season and now functions as a third and final harvest festival in the pagan year. In America, Halloween has become the first holiday in our end-of-year rush for party gaiety. Our Halloween functions as an opening of a 3-month-long celebratory fest that includes Thanksgiving, Christmas, Yule, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, just to name a few, and ends with the popular American New Year. The American Halloween became a cultural celebration rather than a religious one. Our children carve pumpkins with delightful chatter, and adults find solace in the night where they can be whatever they want to be. We have little doubt about the joy of this holiday and what it brings to the American people. We will forever love the haunted house, the vampire costume, the harvest moon, the thrills and chills of railwat rot ghost tales, and, of course, the deliciously scary things that go eek in the night. I hope this video was useful. Yeah, and I'll be back with this candy corn mead probably next year. That's my goal, is to let this just age. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to rack it one more time. Might add some more candy corn, but I doubt it. And then I'm just going to let it sit and age, bulk age, until I'm ready to bottle it maybe next September. So I hope this video is useful, and I will see you next time. Thank you.